Relationships are our greatest source of joy. Ironically, they are also our greatest source of pain. Today, let's look at 5 key ingredients, 5 most important ingredients that must be present in every good relationship. Hi, welcome once again to my channel, Relationship Matters with Modupe Eka. Today we're looking at 5 most important ingredients in every good relationship. Relationship is life. So let's discuss about those 5 important things that no relationship can do without. Number 1, communication. Yes, communication. Communication is the oil that lubricates every relationship. Most of us grew up in families where communication is not just the best. And along the line, we've picked up habits that are not very useful to our communication process in our relationship. Communication is practicing active listening. Yes, we were all taught to talk, but nobody taught us to listen. You must learn to listen actively. Listening actively is not just listening to respond to what your partner is saying. It is listening to understand the perspective of what your partner is saying, so that when you understand the perspective that your partner is on, you can now both reason together. Most misunderstanding can simply be avoided by simply listening to each other. We must learn to actively listen to each other. Number 2, mutual trust and respect. Trust and respect in a relationship goes hand in hand. In fact, you cannot trust somebody you do not respect. Listening to your partner and trying to understand their perspective is a key way to show respect in every relationship. If your relationship lacks trust, it is not easy to trust that person. Trust, however, as we said earlier, does not just happen. It is built gradually over time and across series of interactions. Number 3 key ingredients: listening to each other. We've talked about communication, don't forget. Now I am separating. Listening strengthens relationship. Listening is more than just hearing. To listen, you must give your undivided attention. Oftentimes, I am guilty of not listening to understand, not listening and listening with the L of my attention. I'm like, continue talking, I'm listening to you, and I'm doing something else. That in itself is a sign of disrespect. When you respect each other, you're going to give your undivided attention when it is time to discuss important issues. You need to sit down and put every other thing aside and give undivided attention. In that way, you are not just hearing, you are listening to understand. You are listening to understand the perspective of the other person. It is very important. Once you listen and your attention is divided, you must put away your phone at such times. You don't listen while you are pressing on your phone. You don't listen while you are eating or watching television. It is also a sign of disrespect. Notice that all the things we are talking about, they are all interwoven. Communication, expressing yourself, and then listening to the person's reaction not assuming that you know the answer already. Trust and respect. Trust and respect goes hand in hand. And somebody that you don't actively listen to, you are not showing signs of respect. And like we said, it is built over time across series of interactions. So it is not what just come to you automatically. You build your relationship. Don't forget, relationship is like a garden. You plant a garden, you don't wish a garden. It is what you put in, the efforts, the things that you contribute into that relationship that you will eventually harvest. So you cannot take any of this essential ingredients for granted. Consciously and intentionally make sure you practice them in your relationships. Very importantly, when partners feel that they are being heard and understood, they become closer and the relationship is usually at its best. Number 4, loving each other for who they are. Most times we're looking for our missing ribs. We're looking for that person that complements us. Like it is often said, opposite attract. After they attract, they begin to attack each other. When you love the other person for who that person is, you are not trying to change them. Most relationships, what attracts us to each other is our difference. We begin to enjoy the difference of that person's personality. However, when you are now settled with that difference, you begin to think that, why is this person like this? Why can't this person just be like me? You want to change that person to be like you. No, you can't change anybody. It is only God that created us that can do the change. You must learn to love your partner the way they are. The minute you try to change that person, there's friction in your relationship. You cannot change the other person. You must accept that person the way God has created that person and love them for who they truly are, not trying to conform them to a mold that you have created. We must learn to love each other the way we are. Finally, the 5th most important thing in a good relationship is mutual intimacy. Yes, mutual intimacy. Mutual intimacy involves a feeling of emotional closeness and connectedness. It denotes mutual feelings of vulnerability, openness, and sharing together. Mutual intimacy is a key ingredient in any close, loving relationship. Note, however, that it does not necessarily mean sexual intimacy. As a matter of fact, a lot of couples are sexually intimate and they are not mutually intimate. So there is a difference. Mutual intimacy is built gradually over a series of interaction. When you learn to respect each other, then you are able to be vulnerable to each other. You are able to support each other without the fear of being rejected or being bullied by your partner. It's important that we are mutually intimate in our relationship because it gives us the feeling of the support of the other person, the feeling that we can trust the other person, and the feeling that we can rely on that other person. Relationships are built over long period of time. They do not just happen. And like I have said, it's like a garden that you cultivate and nurture so that you will get what you want out of your labor. Remember, you must not assume in your relationship. Assumption is the mother of frustration. Let's make up our minds today to build and cultivate a meaningful, intimate relationship. Until I come your way another time, remember, you don't wish a garden, you plant a garden. And when you plant, you will reap what you have planted. That has missed is planting season has already forfeited the harvest. So without planting, you can't expect to harvest anything. Make up your mind today to cultivate what you want in your relationship. And steadily, you would reap the gain of your labor. See you next time. Bye.